The man who stopped my poverty. The man who stopped my poverty. The town, Victoria, Texas. The time, June 1967. The place, I was sitting on the fourth row. 840 preachers or so in the Assemblies of God had gathered. I just started my second year as an evangelist. My house cost my father $150. They paid him in one way to just move an old broken down house to some land he owned, and he gave him $150. My bedroom suit cost $35. I bought it from Brother Stanley, a man in my dad's church. My car was a 1953 Chevrolet. Cost my mother $300. And the preacher starts telling the story from Leviticus that God gives you a field of blessing, but he wants you to take the corner of your field and sow it back to broken people. He asked the question, how big is your corner? My corner was tithe. My corner was 10 cents on the dollar. My corner was 10% of my income, which the year before was $2,263. 1 month it was $35. 1 month it was $90. How big is your corner? He asked everybody to make a missions pledge. He called it a faith promise. One man says, my church in the next 12 months will give $250,000. Another man jumped up, my church will give $150,000 for missions in the next 12 months. And I stared. I'd never been in any kind of environment like that in my life. I didn't really understand faith promises. But he said, you can sow it over a period of 12 months. And at the end, I stood slowly and I raised my hand, my 21-year-old hand, with the 53 Chevrolet. And that was another world. I said, I'll give $100 if God will give me $100. That was Wednesday night. Thursday, I couldn't hardly drive. I shook. I guess that's where my anxiety started, huh? 21 years old, making a faith promise for $100. Sunday morning, a man drops by my father's church, stands up. You've heard me tell his testimony. My pockets are full of $100 bills. God just told me to give Mike one of them right now. The man who broke my poverty was an old missionary evangelist called Charles Greenaway. The following Tuesday night, my world changed. Sunday morning, my $100 came to faith. That's where God told me, I will give seed to a sower. If you will sow it, I'll give it to you. And a couple came up to me Tuesday night in Beeville, Texas, and put a check in my hand. Later, they bought me an Airstream travel trailer that's valued today at $163,000. Charles Greenaway stopped my poverty. I didn't even have $100, but he said I could make it as a faith promise. A faith promise. Father, I ask you for 100 partners in the next 30 days who will sow a $100 seed toward my Jerusalem ministry on the radio. I ask you for the 100-fold return as they join Harvest 100, Mark 10, 28, 29, and 30. Amen. I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to put God to a test. If he doesn't give you $100 to sow, it's not a vow. But I'm going to ask you to join Harvest 100 and say, Brother Mike, in the coming weeks, as God provides, I'll help you on your Jerusalem radio mission. This book, I've just been showing it to you, Wisdom Talk, Volume 2. It's book number 894. It's book 894. One copy is $5. 5 copies for your love circle of 5 people. I call it, your goodness 5. There's 5 people in your life who've been really good to you. Why not give them a book on wisdom? 5 copies for only $15. There's the phone number on the screen. I'm asking God for 100 people in the next 30 days, or as God leads you, to sow a $100 seed on my Jerusalem ministry. Psalms 122 says, if you love Jerusalem, prosperity will come to your house. I believed it. I call this Harvest 100, the 100-fold guarantee from our God. That's a little story, Charles Greenway. I sent him a Thanksgiving turkey every month until the day he died. He said nobody had ever done that for him. Anyone who can increase your finances is worth knowing.